Today I'm going to be talking about The Ethics of Living Jim Crow by Richard Wright. This is an autobiography where we learn how Jim Crow has affected Richard's life in various ways. We start with a story of him at quite a young age where he was going through typical young boy antics with his friends, but they got involved with white boys. And he ended up getting injured in this act. And when he told his mother about it, instead of his mother protecting him like he thought she would, he actually ended up getting in trouble. And she said that he was lucky that it didn't end up any worse. And she actually ended up, I don't want to say beating him, but she ended up punishing him. And he really thought about this, and then ever from this moment on, he related white folk and their white houses, their white faces, with their green yards, their green trees, their hedges. He related this with fear. And really just throughout the rest of his life, this stuck with him and began to affect him even as he became a man. But after this incident, Richard actually learned rather quickly the things that were correct and incorrect, supposedly, for him to do as a black man in a white South, a predominantly white South. But eventually he did move to a more predominantly black community, and he did not have to encounter white people, and he began to not fear them as much because an out of sight, out of mind type thing. And it wasn't until he went back to work and had another unfortunate encounter with some more white men that he was reminded of this. And then just from here on out, we learn of the different ways that Richard was hurt or saw people hurt throughout his life, just for being black and forgetting to say sir or Mr. Pease, or not paying their bills and being considered lucky for the fact that they were beaten in the back of a store and not murdered per se. It really just is terrifying to even think about that he had to go through this. I can completely see how he would relate white people and characterize white people in general and generalize them, as just this fearful being. He could never, almost in a sense, relax, or so it feels like he wouldn't be able to relax. Even when he was able to talk more freely with white men, there were certain conversations that were deemed okay and certain conversations that were deemed not okay, and he had to be mindful of this and talk about what was correct in the eyes of the white man. And even the closing line of this whole reading goes to show that these poor individuals became so accustomed to this lifestyle that they almost deemed it as right. The final line reads, "Lord man, if it wasn't for them policies and them old lynch mobs, it wouldn't be nothing but an uproar down here." In closing, the events that Richard described were not uncommon of this time. If anything, they were actually the norm. And I think that people should learn more about the Jim Crow of the past and relate it to the Jim Crow of the now, because as it is said, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And I think there is a very obvious correlation of what happened in the past and what is currently happening in today's society. Open your eyes, look around. Pay attention and be kind. Thank you.